Just being honest. So let's look at this Redfin article that's caused all this discussion. It says there were fewer homes for sale in May than any other month on record. The pool of homes for sale is shrinking because homeowners feel trapped by rising mortgage rates, with new listings down 25% to the third lowest level on record. A shortage of homes for sale is fueling bidding wars in some areas despite sluggish homeowner demand. 37% of homes that sold in May went for more than their listing price, a higher share than usual for this time of year. Absolutely. But not even, it's been this way now for a couple of years. Homebuyer competition is propping up prices, which were down just 3% in May from the record high it hit a year earlier. The number of homes for sale in the U.S. fell 7.1% year over year to 1.4 million on a seasonally adjusted basis in May. That's the lowest level in Redfin's records, which date back to 2012 and the first annual decline since April 2022. Now remember that those other statistics were based on 2009. Not 2012. By comparison, there were 2.2 million homes for sale in May of 2019 before the pandemic rocked the U.S. housing market, meaning housing supply was 38.6% below pre-pandemic levels this May. Now look, in St. Louis, Missouri, in 2019, I still had to make a pretty decent offer to get a house. I mean, like the good houses that are priced right always sell. It's the ones that are really like questionable that tend to not do well. But that's true in any market. Americans' housing stock is dwindling because there are very few people selling homes. New listings of homes for sale declined 25% year over year in May to the third lowest level on record. And on a seasonally adjusted basis, as homeowners were handcuffed by high mortgage rates. I think that's true. Again, double what you would have paid earlier. Nearly every homeowner with a mortgage has an interest rate below 6%, meaning many are opting to stay put because selling and buying a new home would mean taking on a higher monthly mortgage payment. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate in May was 6.43%, up from 5.23% a year earlier, and a record low of 2.65% in 2021. Housing supply had already been lacking for years due to a steep drop-off in home building. Following the 2008 financial crisis, the shortage intensified in 2021 because rock-bottom mortgage rates prompted scores of people to buy homes. That's true. That's true. I mean, like you say, well, should you have gone and bought a home then? I'll be honest with you, the competition was fierce. I mean, you may have wanted to buy and refinance. Like, that would have been the move. It says the intensifying housing shortage is propping up home prices. The pool of homes for sale shrinks. Home buyers in many markets are grappling with competition, which is preventing home prices from plunging despite a cool down in buyer demand brought on by elevated mortgage rates. The median U.S. home sale price was $419,000 in May. That's down just 3.1% when prices hit a record high of $432,000. While home prices fell in May, they posted a smaller decline than they did in April when prices dropped 4.2% from a year earlier, the largest decrease on record, with the exception of January 2012. I mean, here's the median sales price. This was ridiculous. This is not so good. But, I mean, if a normal person would just like a straight line. A slight angle up would be fine too. Redfin, a typical home that sells is no longer selling at a discount. When was it ever selling at a discount? The average sale to list price ratio, which measures how close homes are selling their final asking price, was 100%. And meaning the typical home that sold was purchased at its list price. That's down from 103% a year earlier, but it's the highest level of May of any on record prior to the pandemic and follows 9 straight months of sub 100% sale to list price ratios. Again, this is a national survey, and I'm telling you, in St. Louis, we have been over 100% for most of the last 3 years. Now, I'm not saying St. Louis is great or anything like that. We might be the anomaly. All I know is if I write an offer at 92% of asking, I'm probably not getting the house in the first weekend. Okay, I'm probably not. It says it's too early to say that declines have bottomed out, which we saw in 3 tweets earlier. Prices may have room to fall because mortgage rates could still rise. The Federal Reserve just signaled it's likely to continue raising interest rates this year. That could further hamper homebuyer demand and cause the home prices to fall in the near term. Though the drops would be minimal, we're unlikely to see double-digit price declines like we did during the 2008 housing crisis. That's their words. Fair weather concern. Many people think it's a bad time to buy a home right now because mortgage rates are high, but they should keep in mind that when rates do ultimately fall, many buyers waiting on the sidelines could jump back in. That's exactly right. That could lead to more bidding wars since there aren't enough homes for sale, and heightened competition could push up prices, offsetting some or all the benefit of lower interest rates. Well, that's not really the way I would look at it. I mean, you buy a house, okay, and you've got this payment, and say you're at 6%. Your ideal scenario would be the value of the home goes up, and you're planning on staying there forever, and then you refinance down. The worst scenario is you buy a house with a high interest rate at a very high price, and then that price goes down. The equity, you actually lose equity in the home, and then you try to refinance, you have to actually bring money to the table. That would be an absolute disaster, and you wouldn't do that. So yeah, it's a bad situation. The housing shortage is fueling homebuyer competition in many markets. While demand from homebuyers is falling, new listings have fallen even further, meaning many of the buyers who are out in there are counting bidding wars. Now, that's what I'm saying. Even though the typical home that sold in May was purchased for its list price, more than 1/3 went for more than their list prices, a sign that some buyers are facing competition. No, they're not some buyers. That's down from 59% a year earlier, but it's the highest share of any May on record prior to the pandemic. It was ridiculous. I can't believe that it was only 60% of homes sold above asking. I mean, I had a house that we've been tracking that we put an offer in. They were asking $525,000. We put in an offer for $530,000. It sold for $570,000. Blew me out of the water. But understand, I can't tell my buyers to put down more money if they're not comfortable doing so. I told them that I thought it was going to go for a lot more. They didn't feel comfortable with that, and I don't blame them. Whatever they feel comfortable putting in an offer, we'll put in that offer. Speed is another good way to gauge competition. The typical home that sold in May went under contract in 31 days, which is crazy. That's hard to believe. If you go into St. Louis and you got a weekend, okay, your offers are due, that Sunday or Monday, and there's probably like 6 offers minimum, and it goes under contract in 4 days. So if I see a house right now that's on the market for 14 days, I mean, that is like they really missed on the price. That's crazy. Nearly half of homes offers written by Redfin agents faced a bidding war in May on a seasonally adjusted basis, while that's down from 56.1% a year earlier and a peak of 69% in January of 2022. It's notable that so many buyers are facing competition at a time when demand is sluggish. An offer is considered part of a bidding war if a Redfin agent reported that it faced at least one competing bid. Where in this article is it saying that demand is sluggish? It's not sluggish. If there's people trying to buy homes and they're willing to pay more than asking, demand is not sluggish. There's a huge lack of housing inventory in Miami, and that's combined with higher interest rates is making homebuyers' lives very challenging. Their money just isn't going as far, said local Redfin premier real estate agent Rafael Corrales. I'm encouraging my buyers to be a little more flexible. In some cases, I'm suggesting we go back to 2021 winning strategies, which can mean waiving contingencies and offering high earnest money deposits because they're competing against a lot of cash buyers. That's not so much here. We're not competing against a lot of cash buyers here. 1/3 of U.S. home purchases were made in cash in April, the latest month for which data is available. That's up from 30.7% a year earlier, and comparable with February's 33.5% share, which was the highest in 9 years. Cash purchases are becoming more common because elevated mortgage rates are deterring many house hunters who would need to take out mortgages, leaving cash buyers to take up a larger piece of the home buying pie. And I would just say this: I disagree with that entire thing. What I would say is, when the institutions were buying homes last year, they were buying them in cash. Okay, why didn't those show up in the data? Home sales are falling, but not as quickly as they were at the start of the year. Now, we've been seeing that in different articles. They say that the home prices are maintaining their levels. This is the bottom. We're seeing all these things, and yet it says home sales are falling, but not as quickly. It says closed home sales fell 19% year over year on a seasonally adjusted basis in May, the smallest drop in nearly a year, an improvement from the record 35.3 decline in January. Still, sales were significantly below pre-pandemic levels, down 21% from May of 2019. Pending home sales performed similarly. They fell 21.4% year over year on a seasonally adjusted basis in May, the smallest drop since last summer, an improvement from the record 36.1 decline in November. Pending sales were down 16.1% from May 2019 levels. If you're looking at a house, let me do this. Look, if you're looking for a home right now, you know that the situation is odd. And if you're trying to sell your home right now, hopefully you find one of these desperate buyers that's going to pay for your things, your house at that price that you want. And that's all there is to it.